Good to see you, man. So we're back on Facebook? Is that my understanding?
We've always been on Facebook.
That's not true.
Well, Gunjats did something to clear up our, production, and took us off Facebook, put us on something
Well, you only have, what, 5 followers?
in the Slavic countries.
You're big
I
there.
have,
You're huge
I
over
know
there.
that. I know
Are you
that.
kidding me?
I know
In
that.
Bosnia?
Yeah.
Beau Bock in Bosnia?
I'm actually sponsored by Pickled Pig's Feet over there. And
They're very popular.
Oh. You throw that in a stew?
I notice here that you've got the Georgia football thing. Did you go pay our friend Mr. Felton a visit up at the Athletic?
I did.
You did?
Claudie is Claude Fellow's the best PR guy from any team we've ever had in town.
He really is a great guy.
And, I mean, what's amazing, when you call Georgia Tech and try to do anything with their media, it's been like this since 1973.
Right.
They are nasty, they're not friendly, they resent the fact that you're calling them.
They have an inferiority complex, just like their fan base. You always feel like they're taking something from them, or they're like you're going to be the butt of the joke,
Right.
right? And it's not always the case.
Yeah, in fact, I emailed Mike Stamos, who's their second in command. Didn't even. He's the Braves' official scorer. I've known the guy for 100 years. Won't return.
Well, I mean, you've been in their offices, right? There's a picture of you above. I think you're wearing the same outfit, actually, and it says, "Whatever you do, don't correspond with this man in any way. Email, text." Right?
No, that's not far from the truth.
I know it's not. Thou shalt not speak to Mr. Bock on the flats.
It really, this really is an amazing town in that regard. It is controlled by only a few groups, really. And if you
Can we not go down this route today?
Never mind.
I'm asking nicely.
No, you're in Atlanta. You are. So let's let everything be bad.
Okay.
And we'll live with it.
It sounds good to me.
All right.
Whatever you say, man. But hey, it's kind of hard to get an idea of what they look like. In the beginning of the game, they came out, ran the football at will.
Who, Georgia?
Georgia.
You know what I thought was beautiful about that, and it's Kirby, and it's just my common sense. You know what? When you're going to a hostile territory, you come in, you line up, and you knock their ding-dongs in the dirt. You just run the ball up the gut. You keep coming at them, until you take the crowd out of the game. Georgia did that.
Well, Georgia had more than half the people in the building to begin with.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It's really... we've never known that Georgia traveled like that until Kirby got here.
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
that was never people sense it. You feel it. It's the excitement about Georgia is almost tangible.
Well, what's crazy is that here we are going into year 4 with Coach Smart, and just the idea that we had Rick for so long. It really is crazy when you think about it. Like, leader of men, I mean, he belongs like in a chapel somewhere doing something like that.
Yeah.
Am I not right?
No, exactly right.
Well, Mac Brown's kind of the same way. Mac Brown got him a big win on Saturday.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. I was surprised at that. And that's a tough deal for South Carolina to lose that game.
Well, they benched the quarterback. They pulled Ben. He's not going to start the next game.
I thought he was hurt.
Either or, but Muschamp's in trouble. But anyway, so just the idea.
When you lose to Carolina with a first-year head coach.
Yeah, that was a tough way to start the season. Because he's gotten a pass the last couple of years because they've had some injuries with some key guys.
Right.
And rightfully so. You can't really pass judgment. Like the Falcons, when they got all those injuries, you can't say, they stink because you never saw them on the field.
You know what? Injuries had nothing to do with it. You know why? Because they didn't move. They didn't move the same. They didn't hustle. There was no intensity. So you got guys hurt. That doesn't take away from your intensity. That doesn't take away from your ability to run, chase, and hit. That doesn't take away from your ability to gang tackle and overwhelm an opponent. It's a physical game. If you don't win that aspect of it, the outcome is up for grabs.
Boy, It's going to be fun to watch on Sunday against Minnesota. What you see, what kind of defense is out there? These guys gang tackling? Are they doing the things that you see?
I just don't see how we can beat Minnesota in Minnesota.
They have no
with
offensive
Julio
line.
not having had a play.
Vic Beasley's going to have a monster game.
I would love him to. I would love him to.
Do you think he's going to come in, or are they going to drop him back in coverage?
No, I think he's coming. I think
he's
they
coming?
learned their lesson. It took a year to learn their lesson, but they learned it.
It was like 3 years. This is his 4th year in the league. I
No,
think.
I'm talking about as far as dropping them in coverage and
Right,
stuff.
right,
The
right.
first year when he led in when he had 15 and a half sacks,
Right.
he was coming.
That's right.
Then we
Well,
decided to put him in coverage.
So back to Kirby. I don't know how we got all that, but just think how far we are removed and how what's acceptable and how what's not acceptable now with Georgia football. And you look at the schedule, man, the rest of the way. Murray State this weekend, by the way, it's going to be Dooley Field. Dooley Field. He was already on the Bulldog round table this morning with your boy Chuck Dowell. Shout out to Chuck Dowell. And they were talking about his preparation for this big day on Saturday. Just the biggest of all. And then it'll no longer be referred to as Sanford Stadium. It's going to be Sanford Stadium, Dooley Field.
At Sanford Stadium.
Together forever, as it should be.
There's no way, and Vince, I'm sure, is a wonderful man, but there's no way I can validate that at all in any way, shape, or form. I was here for every one of his games. I was here. I've lived I've come through the frustration of following Georgia.
Well, what about as an
Just as I
athletic
came through the
director?
frustration of following Georgia Tech.
Doesn't it have to do with his accomplishments as an athletic director, all the national championships that they won, the Title IX, all the great things that he did for women scholar athletes?
That
I mean,
bra he
what are you going to
designed.
do?
Wait, come on.
Vinny!
Vince.
Hey! So really, I mean, look
it's
at this
wonderful.
schedule.
He's got a big family and wonderful grandchildren I'm reading about today and everything. It's just wonderful, except that
You were reading about his grandchildren today?
It was in the paper. They're doing, dualies.
He really is like, I remember growing up and you had that crazy ass like grandma or whatever that would always read the paper and tell you stories. That's who you're becoming.
Yeah?
Yeah. Grandma Tissel.
You know what? Never mind.
You were reading stories about the Dooley's grandchildren. Let's see. We got Notre Dame coming up. I mean, you saw them play last night against Louisville.
Doolies do have Power 5 roster at dedication. Talking about the Power 5. He's got 11 grandchildren. Now he's got great-grandchildren. It's at the top of the paper. I happened to read it, okay, because I'm very interested in the Vince Dooley phenomenon. I mean, we do things like this. I mean, how does Jeremy Pruitt get the job at Tennessee? Why are we always selecting people who can't lead?
But they wanted Schiano, and the people freaking in an uproar said he can't coach. We don't want him. They got their way out of that deal by coming up with his connection to Penn State, of all things. Oh, we don't want him because of this. And I mean, and that's who they wanted.
Yeah.
He's not a head coach. He's a coordinator. Mm-hmm. We've always known that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And now you got 3 more years to wait with this guy. Imagine Tennessee. I mean, it's just dead time.
What if they fired him right after the game?
You know what? Hans, they should have. They should have. When this team comes in, first of all,
give Georgia State some
I
credit.
love them. Well, hold on a second. Who's been talking about Georgia State for the last 2 years?
You haven't
Who's
said
been talking
nice
about
things
what they
about
can be?
Yeah, what they
that's
could
right. I haven't said nice things about them because they're not trying to be what they can be. Maybe now they'll wake up down there a little bit.
Could be.
You make Central Florida look like DeVry.
Who wouldn't
with
wanna
what
play
you've
there?
got right here? They go up there in 2 buses. They didn't fly. They went to Knoxville in 2 buses, took the band, of which there's about 18 members, 4 cheerleaders, went up there, kicked their rump, came home with $950,000.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it really is a cool story. I saw the score with about 4.5 minutes left in the game. I said, you've got to be kidding me. Was the game on TV? Was it at least on like SEC Network or something like that where people could...
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, Tennessee didn't play hard. He had to be fired. Forget the score. He had to be fired for his team coming out like that. No intensity, no excitement, no energy. It was horrible.
Did you watch any
I
of
hate
the-
that season. In 5 more years, got 3 more years at $5 million a year.
Did you watch any of the Alabama game?
I did.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that too. Same old, same old. You know, they won't be tested. Although LSU beat the crap out of Georgia Southern, LSU's got a huge game this week. They play. Oh man, it's going to kill me. There's a couple really big non-conference games this week. In Tech, South Florida. I mean, what did you think of the whole Collins thing in the debut, hugging the players and everything, lifting weights on the field and
I
stuff?
love it. I love
You
it.
love it.
I love. You know what? We've been dead. We've been a dead franchise
Left.
for 12 years. Right.
Right.
No, it's been
sure,
brilliant.
Coach?
No, it's been brilliant in its orchestration. However, it should have had a curtain placed over it, and everybody said we're out of the football business. Instead of actually trying to sell tickets to that.
A curtain.
What are you doing?
I told you, I'm looking. There's a big. There's
Is there any
two.
calls you missed? Anybody trying to reach him?
There are two really big games that we need to touch on. Texas A&M, Clemson, right? Could you not see Jimbo going into freaking Death Valley and getting that? I could totally see
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a 3:30 game. That's the big one.
You talking about Jimbo Fisher getting that one?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I could see Texas A&M.
I don't think.
Jimbo and Dabo.
Hey, by the way, another guy should be fired.
LSU plays Texas.
Is Willie Taggart.
Oh, yeah.
LSU will beat Texas.
Florida
Is
State.
Willie Taggart.
Boise
that's-
State. Did you watch the game?
No, but you know, Florida State has, since Willie took over, has never looked like a football team. That's not Florida State.
Well, I saw the
You talk
article.
about a mistake. My goodness.
I saw the article today. Well, they wanted to hire him because of his connections to all the high school coaches down there in Florida. So
Well, then,
he's going to
you
get
know-
a couple years pass until he gets his guys in the program. You know how that whole thing works.
That's terrible.
Right.
That's
So what he's saying now is that he has already spoken to his medical staff and that he feels the reason that the Seminole players faded down the stretch and they were not being hydrated properly. They were not being hydrated properly, therefore, no energy, right? A lot of injuries.
That's Jeremy Pruitt did the same thing.
No,
he's
no, he
blame,
didn't.
he's putting the blame on his players. He's putting the blame on his players. I mean, it's criminal. It's criminal.
Hey, good to see Bobby Cox back at the ballpark.
Yeah.
He actually
Good
he
for
looked
him.
good. I mean,
I
all
didn't
things
see it. I
considered.
didn't see that.
I saw some video of him moving around up there, and all things considered, I think he was moving around pretty good. He looked healthy, looked like he was just happy to be back out.
Oh, good. He did look good?
Yes.
Good.
They're a machine, man. Freaking Braves are a
Wait a
machine.
second. What was that? Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Put the
at
Braves
this.
over here. We'll come back.
Pruitt
to
says volunteers need to look in the mirror to get better. And he goes on to
I think he's challenging his players to get better. That's what he's doing.
I hope they are disappointed because I know everybody in this building is disappointed. Talking about the players. Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
He is a prick.
The balls of that man.
He's a prick.
God. They come out there looking like a ragtag bunch who has no intention of hustling.
But don't you?
And he puts the blame
let
on
me
it.
let me ask you this: I would look at a hire, no matter what the position is. You got a guy who's worked for 4 or 5 different people in the last 5 or 6 years. I don't want anything to do with that guy because he's always looking for something better. He doesn't care about building personal relationships.
Right.
You know, I don't care how good he is at his job, and that's Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah.
Right. You know who wasn't like that? Freaking Kirby.
Kirby was never like
Kirby stayed at Saban.
Kirby was there absorbing everything. Kirby came in here. I actually have never seen a guy come in and take over
Ready
the way
to go.
he had ready to go.
Ready to
go.
He'd envisioned that.
Ready
This is
to
how
go.
it's going to be.
This is the same yesterday, man. He's old business. Comes in, if you go to this is not to kill Mark Rick, but if you went to a Mark Rick press conference, show by golly, but come on with that, stop. And Kirby's there. Here we go. You got any questions? People ask stupid questions. No, seriously.
No, I know.
You know, you've been there, right? People ask stupid questions. 20 minutes are up. Claudia says, last question, and Kirby is out of there. Doesn't even look around. Just beeline. He's got stuff to do, man.
Right.
He's got
Right.
football to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he is turned on and tuned in.
Yeah, just think about, fourth year. So, I mean, you still have some Rick guys on that team. It's hard to believe, but that's the fact. But I mean, you look at the schedule. I never finished. So you got the Notre Dame game. Mm-hmm. You saw them play last night,
Yeah.
but the game is in Athens.
Yeah,
At Tennessee.
but they've got the week off before.
At Tennessee. Then you come home. You play South Carolina, Kentucky back to back. Then you get the game against Florida. Who knows? By the way, is there any truth to this possibly being the last one in Jacksonville for a while?
There's always been a rumor like
Yeah, but
that.
this year I feel like maybe more so than
I
in other
haven't been
years.
reading more so about it. So.
So then you got Missouri.
I hope not.
By the
I
way,
hope not.
who did Missouri lose to? Wyoming, right? That's Kelly Bryant, Clemson's old quarterback. Right. He didn't get a ring and he got his butt kicked. Sure didn't have to do with him. I think they gave up about 40 points. That's crazy how Missouri used
Show
to
everybody what you're looking at there.
Yeah. Sorry. Just a Georgia media guy. Just telling you.
Not the media guys, the Georgia printout, the weekly printout.
The weekly printout.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say?
Oh, you know, the media
Dooley
guy-
Field.
I got
That's
you.
the big
Yeah,
one. Are
you've
you going to
gone
be
through
there?
it.
Did you RSVP?
I have not.
So then you got Missouri at Auburn. By the way, Auburn, great comeback. I mean, Oregon gave that game away. They should have won that
I
game.
know. You know what, though? The cream always rises to the top. That's like Notre Dame, with Louisville. Boy, Louisville looked great.
Think about
In
where
that
they were
first
this time
half.
last year with
Oh,
Petrino.
I know it.
What do you think he's doing right now? Right now.
I know. He's got a date on the back of his motorcycle and they're driving off a cliff in the Grand Canyon somewhere.
No, he's a happily married man, Bo. She stuck with him through all that. He would never try anything like that again. Surely he learned his lesson.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. I stood next to him. I did a couple of their games, but I stood next to him at a home game when I was working sidelines. And I mean, the way he talks to his coaches, officials, I didn't really hear it with his players, but definitely his freaking coaches. It's subhumane. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't see them as humans.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he's a piece of shit, man.
Total.
I mean, really is a bad
He
person.
was Rich McKay's boy. That's why we hired him.
God.
Can you imagine that? I mean, never anyone talk about it. I mean, we're all in bed with each other here. Nobody wants
He's a genius. That was when he came to the Falcons, that's how they spun it. He was an offensive genius that could, do whatever with Michael Vick. That was it. That's how he got the job.
He was a guy you couldn't even work with. He was so self-centered and into himself and arrogant.
It's like Jin G. You ever hung out with Jin G? He'll tell you all about himself.
Jun G.
Anyway, but we're on new
G
platforms,
is a special
right?
project.
We have YouTube, right? YouTube channel, Facebook Live.
Let's solve something here. Jun G, what is this pantomime act of you? Is this what is someday you're going to reveal yourself to? Is that what you're building up to? You're trying to sell this to a sponsor? I mean, will you say something? People don't know what, people don't, I think, cat's got your tongue. I wish I had a camera so people could see his grinning face. Yeah. It's like what me worried. It's like Alfred E. Newman.
He's the man behind the scenes. We'll just leave it at
leave
that.
it at that.
Leave it at that. But no, back to the Braves. Braves they're a machine right now. And my only concern, I asked you, I said, what's your biggest concern that you went into all this, my thing is, we always used to peak early. We'd run away with the division and we go in flat.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern.
That's your biggest concern?
What's yours again?
Well, I went out on a limb and said pitching.
Right.
It's like, particularly starting pitching, but it's coming around a little bit. Faulty goes. You don't know what he's going to bring. I mean, he's a loose Cap that.
I still start Keuchel game one.
But you can't. Well, I wouldn't mind. That would be fine. But the other thing is, you don't know who's going to be hot coming out of the bullpen yet. That is yet to settle in.
Well,
We're
the
getting
good
better.
news
It's
is
looking better.
these guys are coming around, man. These guys we traded for. I know Chris Martin had a rough night the other night. He gave up 3 or 4 hits. A couple of those were off the end of the bats. But Green and freaking Melanson have been incredible.
Yeah.
That's what we traded for.
I hold my breath though. Melanson's out there. He just looks hittable. He doesn't look ominous. It's like if his control is off a silly millimeter,
Right.
he's very ordinary.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, I like our bullpen a lot better than I did, 3 weeks ago.
Oh gosh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, and see Nuke coming in. He do what he did the other night. Throw a home run ball. He comes in with a 3-run lead and he blows it.
Yeah.
3 home run and 3 walks.
Yeah.
That could happen on any given night.
So right now, you probably play St. Louis. St. Louis is red hot, too. And that's the thing with baseball right now. You've got Washington, St. Louis, Atlanta.
I love us against anybody except the Dodgers.
Well, Muncy got hurt.
I know.
They've not been winning.
But he's supposed to be back before the playoffs.
Right. He'll be back before the playoffs. And then Ryu is not.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, they've been
that's
knocking
big.
him around.
That's big.
I know. The team I wouldn't want to play. So think about this. If the Braves win the division and they get a better record than LA, then they would have to play freaking Nationals. If the Nationals beat the... I wouldn't want to play the Nationals. That's who I don't want to play. Because you're talking about Scherzer, Strasburg, probably going to win the Cy Young this year. What's the other guy they got? I forgot his name. Arizona. But they're loaded.
I would still rather face them than the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We got the Nats for 4 this weekend. Be here for you now.
This is huge.
It's huge. You gonna watch a little U.S. Open tonight?
They lost.
Federer's playing tonight.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot.
What do you do that? I didn't do that. Junji did.
You're like father knows best.
Junji did. I didn't make
Don't
a
you pat
face.
me on the. You got it. You got it, pal.
Like the Smothers Brothers.
Oh, okay, Hans. God. I had all kinds of things to talk about, and you always do this to me. You always do this. We talked about it.
I love it.
Let's see.
And to think, that I almost didn't make it.
No one's even talking about the Falcon opener. Do you get that sense? Think about years past. Think about the buzz around town. And we're not expected really to do anything, but just think about the buzz that was around town, on opening week. There's nothing. There's nothing.
No.
Arthur's going to have to put some commercials on TV with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. I saw it the other day. I made a left on our road, and it said you're on Samuel L. Jackson Parkway. I don't even think he's from Atlanta.
Really?
Yes. Why is he telling us to rise up and getting streets named after him?
Maybe that was Arthur's thing. Maybe Arthur said, "Look, I've got the governor in my pocket because I'm a billionaire.
Do you think he's going to be in the
And
rafters?
we're gonna name a boulevard after you.
I bet they could put Sam Jackson in the rafters.
Why not?
Be perfect.
Why
I
not?
think that'd be a perfect.
The balance is a symmetry. It's like a symbiotic.
What's the line? They're
I haven't
probably
even looked.
4-point underdogs, I would guess.
Yeah, I think something like that.
More than a field goal for sure.
How about Brian?
Right
coming
on.
back? How about Brian coming back?
How about it?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope he stays healthy.
I do too.
Yeah.
I've had it. Will you be here Friday?
Yeah. Will I be here Friday? Hey. Well, I mean, really. I'm insulted.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm insulted.
You should be. We'll see, everybody. Be good.